All right, there we go.
Hey guys.
Yeah,
Hello.
and I'm pretty sure people can notice that it's not that the stream's title changed, and that's just because this is something Matt floated like last week. Like make the PM stream more Mythoverse related. So this is going to be a stream where it's just more us hanging out with other Mythoverse creators and potential Mythoverse creators, or people connected to it in some manner. No.
Which is gonna be fun. Hopefully.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, but so what kind of topics are we gonna talk about now?
Well, okay, so to start off, like where this is coming from was like a conversation we were having over in Discord. I think, where did we leave off? Does anyone remember where we left off? Because I don't.
I don't know about y'all because I left before we did this, but did get a drink.
Mm-hmm.
I think we largely just left off on making fun of very wrong takes on stories.
We're talking about Dune and how it got ruined.
Yes, that's it. That was what we were talking about. It was like how people just are like how people. Oh yeah, that like not only that that Brian Herbert and the guy he was working with just messed up, just ruined it with the sequels and everything else they added. But then there's also, I think we also talked about how like people seem to be like seem to be like purposely misinterpreting what Dune is about.
Right.
Which is funny because a lot of people think that Herbert was going to go to and make a more democratic human race at the end, but that's not what he wanted. He thought that democracy was a failure and had some ideas of how a better form of government would work, but he never really shared what it was before his death.
Yeah. Now here's what I'm trying to like. At what point does his stuff end? And it's pretty much Brian Herbert and Kevin Anderson.
Basically, you've got the original series, which ends with Chapter House Dune. And that book leads with a very big cliffhanger.
Like how big we talking?
Well, they talk about this great enemy of humanity, but they never really show it.
The thing is, like, from what I understand, like the big enemy is not even like a physical threat. It's like, because if you go by what the Golden Path is supposed to mean, the enemy is stagnation.
Yeah, but there is some enemy that the antagonists of the previous last two books had found and basically they were kicked out of their empire by that enemy. Of course, if you go by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson, that enemy was the Massine Empire from the Butlerian Jihad, which is stupid.
Yeah, because like if like I've barely read the Dune novels. Even I know like, well, from what I've seen on YouTube is like any form of AI is just it's banned.
The only thing of Dune I've ever consumed was the original movie, like when I was a kid, and I barely remember a lot of details.
You're talking about the David Lynch movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the movie that made him quit Hollywood altogether.
He refers to it as, to quote SF Debris, he refers to it as his studio movie, said the way a chef would say McNugget.
Yep. And it's because of all of the studio interference.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You know that they originally wanted to get Ridley Scott on board, but he said like it would have to be done as 2 films, and they wanted it, and they just wanted it feature length.
Well, how Ridley Scott, I recollect it in the Blade Runner, the book on Blade Runner. It was because he worked on it for a year and a half, and realized it had taken over 3 years for it to be completed. At that time, his brother had a heart attack, so it made him think, "Do I really want to spend 3 years on this?" And so he decides to quit and go work on Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Which is actually really funny when I think about it, because Dune director quits to go work on Blade Runner. Blade Runner director comes in and directs Dune remake.
Cyclical.
Yep.
Oddly enough, yeah, that's tends to how it goes.
Although here's here's what I'm hoping. If the only way this cycle can be complete is if Blade Runner 2049 was Dennis, French last name I can't pronounce, his bad movie, and Dune turns out being his good movie.
Yeah, although I'm going to say another cyclical thing is that it seems like at least one actor from Dune or has been touched by the Dune franchise will often go on to play Professor X. And I'm referring to Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy.
All right.
Yeah, that's right. Both Patrick Stewart was in the David Lynch movie, and James McAvoy was in Children of Dune.
Yep. And at that time, his star power was so low that even though he was on the front cover of the DVD, his name wasn't on there.
Yeah.
Apparently, Susan Sarandon was a bigger name than him.
It was like what, 2002 though?
Yeah.
Nobody had heard of James McAvoy.
It was one of his earlier roles, basically. But there's nothing I enjoyed. I'm going to say I enjoyed the Brian Herbert novels as they are fast food, not sci-fi. But after reading the Dune Encyclopedia, which has a more detailed look into the Dune universe and what the certain events like the Butlerian Jihad was like.
I remember when I read all 3 of the Star Wars encyclopedias. There is so much lore to read about with Star Wars. It was insane.
Well, the Dune Encyclopedia wasn't written by Herbert, but it was written by someone who he had constant conversations with and who taught Dune, who used Dune in his class schedule as a book to read.
Right.
And discuss. So if there's anyone who actually had an idea of what Dune was like, it was him. And in writing the novel and writing the Dune Encyclopedia, you can see how much Brian Herbert took from there and how how much he left out.
Right.
Do you happen to know who this individual's name is?
Willis E. McNally.
Who?
Willis E. McNally.
Okay, so he's. I'm gonna go on a limb and say he was a close friend of Herbert.
Yep, they did have constant conversations about Dune and the impact of it. And in one of them, it was pretty interesting how Herbert referred to himself as a environmentalist, but he did not believe in abandoning technology like so many others believed.
Like anarcho-primitivists.
Yep.
I've seen people who, I'm not kidding when I say I've seen people who unironically think Ted Kaczynski was right.
Yeah.
Yep, we got a rumble.
Yep.
And like how how his manifesto is like the most based thing ever.
Yeah, not so much.
So do y'all have any high hopes for the new Dune movie, or?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'll probably go.
I haven't really looked too much into it. Cause I barely remembered the original Dune movie enough to really get invested in it.
But new movie has been confirmed for 2 movies.
Yeah,
okay, so it's a new series.
Yeah, and if it does well, they'll do more. They'll do Dune Messiah, Dune Children of Dune, God Emperor of Dune. Oh god, that's gonna be pretty. There's gonna be a lot of memes about that.
There's already.
I guess with the death of Star Wars, someone has to pick up on commercialized sci-fi.
The director threw shade at Star Wars by saying that Dune was Star Wars for adults.
Right. And even then, the original trilogy was pretty much a very dirty, grungy sci-fi.
Well, it actually was more like it was science fiction, more in the vein of Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
Like it was flat. It's when you get right down to it, Star Wars is essentially Flash Gordon with a budget.
I always thought it was a fantasy tale that just so happened to have spaceships.
Well, you're not wrong.
Yeah. It was more of your typical fantasy story that just took place in a sci-fi setting.
You're not wrong about that interpretation, but it's science fiction fantasy, and it's Flash Gordon with a budget. I mean, Lucas it's no secret that Lucas, one of the big influences on it was Flash Gordon.
Well, I think the biggest influence was Kurosawa films. In fact, one of the actors he really wanted to get for the original trilogy, was Toshiro Mifune.
Oh yeah.
Who he wanted to be Obi-Wan Kenobi, but apparently they couldn't get him because of scheduling.
Also, I mean, would that have really worked, to be honest, though? Because, Toshiro Mifune was a great actor, but the reason why he went with Alec Guinness was kind of on advice from someone else that you get. Was it from Spielberg? It was from somebody. Someone told Lucas, you got to have a big name actor in your production. And Alec Guinness at the time was a big name actor.
Yeah, and, it's really interesting how Guinness did not like Star Wars, but he believed it enough to ask to be paid in royalties. You could say that the man died very wealthy.
Yeah.
I guess he knew a good thing. I guess he knew a good thing when he saw it.
Yep. It's really interesting. It's also really interesting how much money George Lucas made off of just merchandising it on its own.
Well, that's what wasn't that essentially what Spaceballs was making fun of Star Wars for?
Yep. But the whole thing was that he retained the merchandising rights because Fox did not believe in it.
Sometimes low expectations can help you win.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, I think like one of the first like expanded universe novels, was it called Splinter of the Mind's Eye?
Yep.
Something like that was based off an idea for a sequel that he had to be more low budget in case like the first one tanked.
Well, more of it in case they couldn't get achieve funding for it.
Yeah, so he wrote
And he had Alan Foster.
Yeah, although I think that isn't, if I remember correctly, though, isn't even at the time when the expanded universe was still kind of canon, like that, the canonicity of that one was sort of suspect just because of certain things that happened in it.
Yeah, mainly because at that time was before Luke and Leia were brother and sister, or that Darth Vader was Luke's father.
Yeah.
But
there was a lot of legitimate stuff that barely anybody really knew what was going to happen in production.
Yeah, it was basically flying by the seat of their pants.
Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah. Until the sequel trilogy happened, that didn't.
You mean the one that replaced the already pretty well fleshed out an expanded universe that even had a good sequel basically ready to go in the Thrawn trilogy?
Yep, but honestly, I think the big thing is that they wanted to do their own thing. That was one of the reasons why Star Trek novels were never really in any form of continuity.
I don't know, it's just like they would have just been better off just giving the fans what they wanted. Just make an adaptation of the Thrawn trilogy, and boom, everyone's happy.
They don't want to do something that makes fans happy. They want to do something that makes them happy.
It would have worked too. It would have worked so well.
Yeah, but they want to do their own thing, unfortunately.
And now they're even doing it even worse because now you get that thing that they're doing, that Disney's doing on their YouTube channel, or is it the Star Wars channel? Like, you guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
That thing that you were retweeting.
Yeah.
Things that didn't happen in the movie for 500, Alex.
Oh, yeah, that literal revisionist stuff.
It's like, you look at that and it's like, that didn't, I mean, like, if you, like, the only way that they have to be counting on that people have never seen the movies for that to work, because otherwise, we're just going to look at it and say, like, that didn't happen.
Considering how much of an overtly and unnecessarily bitchy Leia is, I don't want to see a series with Mothma. Just don't.
And look, you just like, who do they? I want to know who is that made for?
I do not want to see. I do not want to see them do Mothma dirty. Because she might end up just doing Leia to like Admiral Akbar or something, and no one's ever going to forgive that.
It's like, I just like seriously, I need that answer. Like who is this who is this like little animated thing? Is it an actual show or is it just a thing is it a web series? What is it?
I think it's supposed to be like a cartoon mini movie because since it's only going to be about the rescue of Leia.
Yeah, and like I said, I want to know who is this supposed to be made for? I mean, like, is this supposed to? If this is made for people for kids who haven't seen Star Wars, well, that beggars the question: why wouldn't their parents just give them the movies? And
I mean, that's how I got into Star Wars. My mom just let me watch the movies.
Yeah. I mean, like Tank just said it's just outrage marketing because they know how people are going to react to it.
And even their genuine marketing hasn't worked for me because I was genuinely happy whenever they wanted to finish off Clone Wars, but when I saw it was only for Disney Plus, I'm like, okay, you just lost me now.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's like they don't. It's like Disney does not. I don't think Disney has any clue who their audience is supposed to be anymore.
Yeah, they just don't. They really have. They're trying to go for an audience that they're told is there, but really isn't.
I mean,
like whenever companies get tricked into buying MCNs only to find out that MCNs are literally nothing.
Pretty much.
They get sold buying literally nothing.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, like, fuck. I mean, like, it's like they're trying to find this new audience that doesn't exist, but at the same time trying to keep your old one, because while they're shopping out all these live-action remakes of old movies, banking on nostalgia to sell them.
Yeah, nowadays it's been pretty much a nostalgia market. No one's been trying to...
I call it nostalgia exploitation.
Yeah, no one's been really trying to do anything really new. Or I know it's a popular phrase to say there's nothing new under the sun, but at least you can try and attempt to spin something to make it seem like it's new, you know?
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, fuck. I mean, like, I'll be the first to admit, there's very little about Changeling that's something that at its core is fresh and original, quote unquote, but it's the little touches I add that make it different. Help it stick out.
There's a lot of things that people don't understand about creating new stories these days. A lot of it is based on people wanting to do something that seems intellectual or try to bring in new audiences while ignoring the old one.
A lot of times it seems like these people really want to do their own thing, do their own works, but then they just get shoehorned into doing pre-existing IPs, and they just get sour about it.
Yep. And I have this feeling that when we talked about the Rian Johnson contribution to Star Wars, I don't think he's going to have that new trilogy.
Well, they already saw what happened when they saw what letting him do his own thing with no supervision got them. Everyone hated Last Jedi.
Except for those that are, for whatever reason that goes beyond my understanding, want to turn themselves into martyrs by dying on its hill.
Well,
in the most strangest of ways. Like, there was one person who made a literal video titled "Shut Up About Plot Holes." And I think in that video, or maybe it was in a different video, but he was like, just remember, this is a movie about magical space wizard designed for kids, and then he went on like a whole tangent about how it's like this masterpiece, inspirational, paradigm shifting thing, only then to then just recapitalize as where this is just a movie about magic space wizards designed for kids. I'm like,
which one is it?
It's like,
pick one.
Honestly,
even though Zach liked it, Last Jedi, I think even he was aware of its shortcomings.
I really have to say that with God, Last Jedi and The Force Awakens both completely misunderstood how they did lightsaber battles in the original trilogy and the prequel trilogies even. These were not fights that were really glamorized.
Well, let's just be. Well,
I still have no idea how Kylo could have ever been defeated. That's the weirdest thing to me.
I don't know. The prequel trilogy had a lot of fancy choreography in its duels.
Yeah, but
that was because like both sides were like in their heyday, so they had all that martial fancy training in order to justify it.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
but the big lightsaber duels, they didn't have these.
And the reason why the lightsaber fights in the original trilogy were the way they were like, because there was only Darth Vader versus Ben Kenobi, which is basically two old guys who really can't move around too much, and one of them's in constant physical 24/7 pain from birthmarks, and the other ones were Darth Vader versus Luke, which is again just an old guy in constant pain versus a guy who barely knows how to use a lightsaber.
Well, another thing is that it wasn't really glamorized in the subtext.
Okay.
I
think like one thing you talked about was like how at least in the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy was that the duels, they were at least given context. Whereas
there were reasons as to why they were the way they were.
Yeah, I mean,
whereas in the new movies, they just seem to exist for their own sake.
Yeah, if you look at something like Obi-Wan's duel with Anakin, the music wasn't exactly that exciting. It was more toned down, tragic.
It was a lot more of a tragedy because it was literally like two practical brothers like tearing each other apart emotionally.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you have The Last Jedi, where it was you have a very poorly choreographed fight scene in the throne room when you can tell that Rey should have died a couple of times in there.
Yeah, like I said, there's at least...
for whatever reason, like 3 highly trained royal guards who fought with each other and practiced fighting with each other for probably decades, like all decide to attack at the exact same time using the exact same move in the exact same area. For what that can be easily like parried, and then she kicks one person and all 3 go flying. And then one person just like has like 2 weapons, blocks one of Rey's attacks, and instead of attacking with his second weapon, he just drops it and goes for a grab. It's like, what are you doing, man?
Apparently Snoke did not believe that anyone would get that far.
Okay.
It's like
this big old...
That's making me think of that one time that one episode of SpongeBob where Plankton gets into the Krusty Krab by hiding himself in $1, and then Mr. Krabs says, "Okay, now what?" And his only response is, "I don't know. I didn't think I would get this far."
And as much as I really disliked The Force Awakens, at least did their bad guys all right, very decently set up. I wish they were still the underdog bad guys, the terrorist cell trying to rebel against the Galactic Republic, but whatever. Let's do Empire 2.0, I guess. But at least the at least the main character villains, General Hux, Kylo Ren, and Supreme Leader Snoke, they were very well set up. I enjoyed them as they were as characters, and I was interested to see where they go. And then, what the hell did Last Jedi to them? The one of them became a complete and utter joke, like a living embodiment of comedic relief. Another one has no idea if he's supposed to be a villain or not, despite the fact he crossed the threshold into being a villain. And the other one is just flat out freaking dead.
Yeah, I think there was another video I came across about why the new trilogy's antagonists pale in comparison to the old ones. They're constantly screaming.
Well, the thing is,
here's the reason why.
In the Force Awakens, the only one I can really remember screaming was Hux, and he only did that once when he was addressing his troops when they were firing the Mega Death Cannon.
It wasn't. In that case, he wasn't even screaming; he was just speaking really loudly. But
yeah,
like in the Last Jedi, you just see Kylo and Hux constantly yelling at their minions.
Yeah, in the Force Awakens, they were very subdued. They were, menacing. Like they knew what they were doing and what was going to happen, and nothing could stop them.
Yeah, but like when you're constantly screaming, it just kind of betrays weakness.
And I always loved the dynamic that it seemed like Kylo and Hux were like competing against one another to be Snoke's like favorite. It was a good dynamic going on. But then they absolutely betrayed that in the last.
Just like, every time they found something good.
What?
Found something.
Yeah, every time they did something good, they found a way to fuck it up.
Because I mean, sure, in the original trilogy, you had Darth Vader. Like whenever someone failed him, he choked them to death. But that was the thing; he choked them to death because every good villain overlord character knows that if you humiliate your lieutenants in front of their troops, the troops aren't going to listen to them anymore, so might as well just kill them and get someone else in charge to invoke the fear of failure. And in The Last Jedi, you literally have Snoke just flinging Hux all over the goddamn place in front of everybody, humiliating him. It's like, what the hell? Why are you emasculating your general? What's the point of this?
Exactly.
So, it looks like Alterna got swatted. Pierce Matty got swatted.
What?
Yeah, I just found that out through. Yeah, I pulled that through Discord.
When the hell did this happen?
Apparently, just now.
Holy fuck! Do we have any ideas?
No idea, but
I'm hoping there's a police investigation to this.
Shit.
I'm hoping there's a police investigation. Whoever did it gets arrested.
It's gonna be the same thing over and over again. It's gonna be Comicsgate is gonna blame the SJWs.
Of course they are, and it's like, but like just, of course they will. But honestly, what should be happening is that they should be just letting the cops do their job and find out who was actually responsible for this. You know what? I hate having to mention these two on stream because I want them irrelevant, but I just know they're probably going to come up because Comicsgate can't control itself. They're probably gonna put out Renfamous or SJW Spider-Man as the prime suspects.
Probably.
And here's the thing: they might not even be guilty of it.
I really don't think they would be guilty of it. By now, of all times.
Yeah, so they're just Comicsgate is going to drag them through the mud. Look, and this is not me saying I like either of them.
Wait a minute.
And this is not, I want that perfectly clear in case someone tries taking my words out of context.
Stream?
Yeah, if someone tries taking me out of context, here's the thing. I'm not defending either of them as people. I think I have both of them. I'm pretty sure I have both of them blocked. I know I have Ren blocked. It's just like, but if Comicsgate drags them through the mud, as responsible, I'm gonna say in this instance they're wholly innocent, likely.
Yeah, it was swatted on a live stream.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's just like, seriously, you guys, and I'm just gonna say you guys gotta control yourselves. Like, just if you have to do anything, if my advice, just DM Peter or tweet at Peter, just tell him, hey, I'm sorry that happened to you. Hope you're okay. Hey, but otherwise, just let the police do their job.
Considering how he's pretty much the most influential voice, I at least hope that at least among people rather keep not on live stream, but at least hope that EVS at least says something to redirect flag. But like even with him, people are still gonna do whatever cancerous stuff they want to do.
I know, but it's just like all I'm gonna say is like vigilante justice on the internet just looks really fucking stupid.
Okay, just half a minute ago, Peter did a tweet. I just had a gun pointed at me tonight because someone made a call to the police to get my address along with a falsified report. I'm shook up, but everything is okay now. I'm going to talk to the police tomorrow and see if I can find out more.
Yeah, like I said, like just seriously, nobody go out looking for a head to scalp. Just let the cops do their job.
Shit, I'm not really even well tech versed to really even be able to even accomplish that, so I'm not even going to bother trying.
I'm not talking to. I know no one here is going to do it. I'm talking to any potential people from Comicsgate.
Just talking about people in general.
Yeah, just like nobody. Yeah, I know. Just leave them. Just like don't go looking for a head to scalp, and don't run anyone through the coals on social media. Just leave this in the police's hands.
It's a dangerous time to be on the internet nowadays.
Yep.
But both in virtual world and in reality.
It's more you're putting a target on your back if you put your name and face out there.
Yeah. And many people would just say, "Oh, you coward hiding behind an anonymous profile. What are you afraid of?" Like everything, literally everything.
Yeah, it's
just like, well, you got people who can only voice their opinions via anonymous. Otherwise, their government will hunt them down because there are countries like that, and people just don't understand that.
I know, like there's one tech chick out in China who gets her. Well, she might not even. Well. Naomi Wu, that's her name. Although I have to suspect that's not really her real name, but I happen to know that she gets through China's firewall using a VPN server.
Oh yeah, she would definitely be put into death camps over that. The Chinese government does not mess around.
No, nope. They don't.
And I hate calling them the Chinese government because in reality, Taiwan is actually real China.
Yeah, so it's not Beijing.
Because the Communist Party pretty much did a violent takeover, the real Chinese government moved to Taiwan. So, there's a bit of fun fact history for you.
Well, considering that I think the Chinese president is apparently president for life, I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he is.
I really wouldn't be surprised. That's very well. Even with nowadays, you much will be a president for life, because even if you do have a quote democracy, you can be a powerful enough dictator that you just you just basically rig the elections your way, and no one can really do a thing about it.
Well, there's like only one party to vote for in China anyway.
Yeah, it's the same thing with North Korea. It's just like the People's Republic. That's all there is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like seriously. Yeah.
I have to wonder what's going on with today.
Who?
I have to wonder what's going on with today. With first, we get Rags and Antarctic Press are suing Ubisoft.
Are they?
Oh,
or allegedly.
That's why people were talking about Ubisoft? Damn.
Yeah, apparently there was some downloadables. There's some customization options in the new Far Cry game that looks very similar to Regina's onesie.
That's what I'm getting from the whole thing. The whole situation is that it's going to be. It's just so bad.
Yeah, and like the thing is, like in their case,
okay. I know this goes against every principle I have, but in this case, I wouldn't even mind, even if Ubisoft is innocent. I just want AAA companies to go down and indies to go up. I would hope they win.
And now we got Pierre Samedi getting swatted. What the fuck, Tuesday? What the fuck?
Oh boy, what other hives nest could get kicked today?
Well, Blizzard let 800 people go.
Yeah, well, guess what? There was the 800 people they let go were community managers and esports people. So in other words,
yeah, people not really important to the company.
Yeah.
Though if Blizzard actually capitalized on them trying to start esports, maybe they could have, but they pretty much got taken over by literally everybody else. They even got taken over by Disney when it came to esports. Esports is, I mean, Disney's doing esports better than Blizzard. That's hilarious to me. Oh man!
Today is just what is going on today?
And of course my friend is still like in a freaking race war with people on Twitter about Black Panther, because people apparently didn't get the idea that that Killmonger is a racist, genocidal maniac tyrant. I mean, it's not like it's in his name or anything.
Yeah. It's, I don't know, a lot of people just don't seem to get a lot. Some people you need to just solve the story in their face for them to get, and some you don't need to at all.
And Pope Fire just commented that she was threatened, I don't know if recently or long ago, for having the police calling her for not liking Titans. Oh, people.
What the frick?
And
people.
And the predictable reaction happened when SJWs are blamed for it.
At this moment, I'm just having a countdown clock to when I see the first tweet about the SJWs did it.
I already saw one.
Well, there we go. There we go. Oh, yeah, I just found your tweet talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, at least the guy is understandable about it. He's just venting. And at least he's not absolutely serious about it.
I'm glad it isn't, because that was just, well, crap.
Yeah, because he's doing like I see what you're saying, but I just can't help but be mad at the moment kind of tweet.
Yeah.
Oh man. we live in very, very highly volatile times. Like, I still won't say we're as volatile as the time of the Civil War, but oh man, it is. It is going up. And oh geez, Tank is having it rough because he just woke up and this is the first thing he's seeing.
Yep.
Oh, Tank, I am so sorry, brother. I am so sorry for you.
This isn't.
Imagine trying to go to work hunting sharks in your submarine with this going on.
Tank is over in Slack. He is on the warpath right now.
There's going to be a lot more dead sharks in the world.
And oh man, Cody's in the Meeting of the Minds group chat, and he is venting a lot.
Yeah, he is. Cody is not a happy camper right now. You know it's bad when Cody's having a bad day. Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes. Is it appropriate to do my Clyde reaction shot done by Dan? I think it'd be very appropriate.
Probably.
Maybe I should retweet that one because I might be able to get some of this SWAT stuff to it. Oh man, what is going on these days?
It's insanity. That's what it is.
You know, as a liberal guy, can I just say it was a mistake to decommission the insane asylums?
I guess it was.
Yeah, but the problem is that was with the people who were abusing the power of that.
Yeah, but I mean, government has been doing it a lot more, and they're still up. I'm not saying what about isms, but what about?
Well, you know, I think we all figured out how well we could live without the government when they were shut down for about over a month.
Yeah, the only ones really effective are federal workers. Everyone else is just fine.
And they're acting like they're the victims.
Oh man, let's not turn this into a political thing. It's already bad enough we got this shit going on.
Okay, well, at least it was only the Coast Guard that suffered. Well.
I just posted the Clyde face in the YouTube chat. I just love that face. It's just perfect.
Yep.
It is the universal face for many things.
It says this message held for review. Okay.
Probably because of the link.
Yeah.
And it fits because in the comic, he's possibly going to be in. He's the straight man of the group, so he's probably going to make that kind of a face a lot.
Oh, more than likely. So we got an hour and a half left of Tuesday. What's going to happen?
Yeah, I don't think we want to end. I don't think we want to end the stream on that dark a note.
No, since this thing is called Mythoverse Radio, is there anything about Mythoverse you want to talk about?
Yeah,
might as well end it on the topic the thing's named after.
I have to. Well, at this point, Matt and I would just be repeating ourselves from the earlier stream, but I think like we talked about like how we think the reason why our Kickstarter is going to be can be successful is because we're giving the backers a plethora of options in terms of rewards.
Danielle said that one of the rewards is basically you just get like all 3 first issues together, bundled.
There's a bundle option, but like you can also just get the one you want, and then if you want the other 2, you can get them after the campaign. There's like you don't need to have all 3. I mean, we're not.
Of course, you do need it all for. You're gonna need it all for the variant cover.
Well, yeah. And unless you're going for Antonella's variants, then yeah, you would need all 3.
Yeah, I think that might be something important to stress, that you're not going to get that image unless you buy it all.
Yeah, it's like the X-Men #1 by Jim Lee. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
Yeah, like it. I mean, it's not. I mean, we got about that was about 4 different covers, but man, that was worth it to have it.
Yep.
I mean, like it was. In fact, that's probably like the only way I've seen variant covers done right.
This is. Yeah.
There's one thing I can enjoy about the indie comics community is that, oh boy, you get a crap ton of variant covers done by a plethora of people just trying to support one another and keep things fun. It is a very wholesome community.
Not just that. Yeah. I mean, like there's artists I've run into across Twitter that I actually want to collab with, and this is probably a way they get their big break. Cause like I'm like, there's this one girl out in the Philippines called Color Nix. Like, I love her watercolor work. It's amazing. It's great. She's got
same.
She's got a knack for doing fantasy art.
And apparently, thanks to a out of context clip from the Jump Force game, apparently racist Deku is a meme now.
I'm actually kind of digging that.
Yeah, because he did like a rather odd quote in reference to Piccolo. So everyone's just running on the train.
What, call him a villain?
Yeah.
Like well, to be fair, at
just
one point,
automatically assuming he's a villain.
He was a villain at one point, to be fair.
Yeah. So everyone's like, now, Deku's racist against aliens now. And I guess it also doesn't help that in Dragon Ball, Piccolo's like the blackest character ever.
Except for that other black guy in like the Boost Saga, I think.
Dude, Piccolo's even blacker than that guy. Like he is overtly black, man.
Yeah.
Despite being a green alien, he is very black.
Well, yeah, and you can tell he's not from Detroit.
And this will be kind of racist, but it's kind of ironic that he's actually a better dad than Goku.
Look, Goku's an awful father.
Goku's.
And I mean, even in Super, Gohan pretty much turned him into a babysitter for Pan. Kind of funny. I freaking love that moment where you just have Piccolo just rocking Pan's crib back and forth from his foot while he's chilling. Yeah, his freaking apron during the barbecue scene when Goku is waiting for Hit to come kill him.
Wait, that actually happened?
Yeah.
I must admit, I think I must have missed that.
It was after like the first tournament between 5 and 6, trying to get the Super Dragon Balls, and Goku wanted to fight Kid again, so he put a bounty on himself, and they had like a whole barbecue thing, and Piccolo had like the most freaking adorable apron on while cooking. Piccolo best dad.
Definitely better than Goku. Then again, even Vegeta's better than Goku.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least Vegeta cares.
In his own way. Even though he doesn't show it.
A lot more Symbians are very like hands off when it comes to raising their kids, but the royal family kind of doesn't do that because they actually need to take care of their family because they're royalty. Kind of need to care.
Like, well, a lot of it just has to do with the fact of Vegeta's personality.
Yeah, he's very, very loyal.
He is.
Yep.
It's actually kind of amazing, like considering how he started out, because he was supposed to be like just another villain for Goku to defeat, and then it's like, and then but people just ended up liking him so much that Akira Toriyama just decided to bring him back for the Namek saga, and then we found out, hey, this guy actually can be a good guy.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed Vegeta as a character a lot more than Goku. He has way more going on.
Well, that's just because, like, with Goku, I mean, like, okay, sure, yeah, Goku does have to work for what he does have to work for his victories, and he does struggle for him, but it's like...
He doesn't do even half as much struggling as Vegeta does.
Yeah, like, mainly just, and I think that's a lot of just because Vegeta just has that massive chip on his shoulder about how he's, no matter how good he is, he's always second best to Goku, and he can't stand that. Because he's not supposed to be. Because he's not supposed to be second best.
Friggin' Matt just linked a Team 4-star clip.
Explaining why Goku is a bad dad. And how dumb he is.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's a good. It's a funny thing. Like, he's like, some people think he's also like a great hero. I mean, like, yeah, he is kind of.
Well, Goku only ends up being a great hero by accident. He doesn't really care about being the hero. He just wants to fight. He just so happens to fight the bad guys.
Well, he doesn't want to get. He gets angry when innocent people get hurt.
Well, that's one of the reasons why at the end of Dragon Ball Super, the reason why he didn't fight the final match in the tournament was because he knew that he'd make, by restoring all the universes, he would be making a selfish choice because he's only doing it just so he can fight them again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, sure, yeah. I mean, like,
yeah. I mean, you can say a lot of bad stuff about Super. Like, even I say some bad things about Super, but it gave me two things to really enjoy that just puts it as one of the top Dragon Ball series out there for me. One, Vegeta caring about Bulma so much that when Beerus pimp slapped her, he actually became stronger than Goku for like 5 seconds. Like, he was giving Beerus some shit in those 5 seconds.
Especially considering, like, in the Super Saiyan God movie, when Beerus first appeared, he was cowering in fear of him.
Yeah. Like Vegeta just went off the freaking deep end.
Yeah, he was just like he was doing everything he could to make sure Beerus was not pissed off, and then it's like, but then he had to go and cross that one line.
Yeah, and because I mentioned that three things. The second one being freaking Beerus. Beerus is amazing, best character ever. And 3, The third thing that I really enjoyed was Frieza. Like, I don't know how, but they took a joke, like a villain that was all right when he first started off, but then became a joke later down the line, and then made him relevant again and actually pretty amazing. Like I had no idea if I wanted to be pissed off or not that he wasn't really showing a whole lot during the Tournament of Power. Like, on one side, I didn't see a whole lot of him, but on the other, I didn't see a whole lot of him, so I could appreciate him more.
Yeah, I mean, that sort of kept his appearances more impactful.
Yeah, because he wasn't really fighting. He was just waiting for everyone else to tire themselves, and he just finishes them off. He was being devious. Got involved when people were personally pissing him off, or whenever he saw that his own teammates really, really needed some help, and he's like, "Well, if they get kicked off, we all die, so I might as well help out."
Speaking of Frieza, did you see that clip of Jump Force where he levitates?
My people need me.
Yeah, I am waiting for little Karibo to do that. I must go. My planet needs me. He's gonna do it.
It could have worked a lot more if they'd done the usual thing of having his feet, instead of staying flat, like dip down, like he's actually levitating. Like, if they were just on that simple change, it would have looked a lot better.
Yeah, but like,
no, because they got dumb.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man, you just. Matt, however, is happy because no one from Gintama was included in the game.
Well, it's more like I saw the opportunity for a joke and ran with it.
You are lie. You are happy. Don't lie. You are happy about it.
Even Dollar is getting pissed off now.
I'm honestly really not surprised. I mean, when you see everyone you normally don't see get angry, even Dollar Bin is angry, and that's how bad this whole thing is.
Oh, he even pulled out the jabroni card.
Oh,
that's the bottom line, you jabroni. The Jersey Bear would be angry.
Yep.
And it sucks even more for him because just recently he was, for the first time, like, given like 3 promotional comics because a publisher was like very grateful for his review of some of their stuff. He never had that happen before, and that just happened like not even an hour ago, I think.
Yeah, seriously, whoever swatted Peter's a son of a bitch and deserves to go to prison for it.
For a very long time, and maybe even be neutered by way of hedge clippers.
I doubt that'll happen because, unfortunately, the only thing that gets you beaten to death in prison is if you diddled kids.
Well, we don't know who did just yet.
Did you guys see that that headline that was going around for a bit not too long ago about Florida man that apparently sexually assaulted like 865 kids that finally got arrested?
Florida man is crazy.
Fucking Florida man.
Although I got a buddy who tells me Florida man has nothing on Polish man.
I wouldn't doubt it just because the Slavs just be the Slavs.
Yeah.
Yep.
When you got the Slav in you, you cannot control it. It controls you.
Yeah, Grand Comics can attest to that.
When you finally find out you have Slav in your blood, Adidas jumpsuits just materialize over your clothing, and a bottle of vodka grows out of the ground wherever you walk.
Exactly.
And suddenly you have the leg strength of a god.
Oh, jeez.
but for whatever reason, you can't walk for shit unless you're squatting. and speaking of that shit, I freak people out every time I show them that I can actually do the Kazakh dance. You know, like the really low dance with the kicking. Like, people never believe me that I can actually do that until I show them, and they just flip the hell out like they've never seen it before.
Oh, no doubt.
So I wouldn't be surprised if I had some Slav in me. Yeah, no, but I think the only thing that convinces me that I'm not is that I haven't bought any Adidas products ever.
Oh boy.
But the moment I buy Adidas, I'll be worried.
Oh boy. Well, that does seem like that. Nothing's really been going on with the whole blame game going on.
My timeline is absolutely filled with outrage over the swatting and outrage over the Star Wars cartoon right now. Oh, and here's EBS talking about it, and he's blaming SJW, saying they're trying to murder Comicsgate.
I am not surprised because that is something he'd do. It's more of the same knee-jerk reaction that he wants to drum up support.
Let's see if he's said anything else.
I have a feeling the next 5 weeks will be all about him.
2 hours ago, he was complaining about mass flags and threatened lawsuits against someone. I don't know. I mean, it's him in the thumbnail, so it's about him being mass flagged and getting lawsuited. Saying people were complaining to him about him talking smack about the Captain Marvel movie. There's a thing about him getting retweeted by that really famous, like, a really popular law firm for like indie people now, since they want to get involved in like literally everything. You just gotta go Rekiata Law. Free speech people. Yeah. But yeah, so far he only retweeted Peter Sametti's thing about how he had 2 guns pointed at him. He's going to check the police tomorrow, and I'm complaining about SJW trying to get Comicsgate killed.
It's kind of that just seems wholly inappropriate right now.
Yeah.
Also, Pierce May is not Comicsgate.
Yeah, no, he pretty much made. He was the one who made Teen Comics, right?
Yeah.
So I think he only did that because he saw a lot of people were like leaving Comicsgate and wanted something that was purely to promote indies, so he did the Teen Comics thing.
Yeah, it's just
to not be political, but just to have a different hashtag.
Just let it be about the comics.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some people can't do that.
And I still remember that time when EBS tried to claim ownership of Teen Comics.
Nobody owns it.
That's the whole point of it, too.
Yeah. But I say that if you really want your movement to actually be able to do anything, you need to have centralized leadership to be able to like parse out who is and who isn't in the movement to make it easier for you. But claiming ownership of a movement is a bit of a stretch.
Honestly,
because leaderless mobs don't really get much done.
Well,
unless you get like the exact right message for the entirety of the masses to go by, and no one takes anything to be a worthy cause to go behind for some reason. It's always got to tear something down for them to want to be involved.
This is pretty claiming that Pierce, if it was NSJW who did this, claiming that Pierre Samedi is Comicsgate, despite the fact that Samedi's talked about not being Comicsgate, that's what put the target on his back.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure, like I've been just adjacent of like I don't block or mute anything. I just kind of like to see like what happens when it just comes up to me, and I haven't really seen Comicsgate get associated with Peter all too much. So I wouldn't really put it past anyone to try and associate Comicsgate with Peter. Because I'm pretty sure Peter got a lot of bullshit from a lot of people before for some reason. I'm pretty sure I remembered some of those, but I just can't remember the details exactly.
It was because Pierre refused to denounce readers who bought his book.
Edwin has like an 8-minute video tweet, and he's talking about how what we got here. Joe Quesada and Jim Lee just tried to swat Peter Samedi. It's time to speak up.
What the fuck?
So, according to Edwin, the chief creative officer of Marvel Entertainment and the DC Entertainment chief creative officer is somehow involved with Peter getting swatted.
What?
That's just some cringe tier level of conspiracy.
And as I said, he's got like this 8-minute video about it attached. No comments yet. I mean, I'm a firm believer of all things being possible, but this is kind of a reach.
Yep.
I mean, if it were to have happened, I wouldn't exactly be surprised because I've been surprised by more strange things, but that is a reach and a half.
Yeah, especially when it's coming from a company that they don't really need to.
But what exactly would Marvel and DC get out of that?
Nothing.
As I said, I'll leave it up there as a possibility, as all things are possible. But I think there might be simpler ideas, like maybe some rando who just has beef with Peter just did it.
Yeah, I don't see how Marvel or DC could gain anything from.
I mean, considering there's a lot of SJWs and a lot of Comicsgate people that might have beef with Peter that are far more likely to have done this than anything else.
It just doesn't make sense. Why?
It's just, Occam's razor is a hell of a thing. I'm bookmarking this because after this live stream, I am very curious what the hell Edwin has to say to try to justify that bit of a reach.
You want to know something interesting? I looked up to see whether or not Edwin's had any new videos.
Make a freaking
YouTube channel?
comic out of that idea. Holy shit.
Well, he just put up yesterday a video titled "Fear."
Called what?
He just put up just yesterday. He put up a video titled "Fear," and
fear about what? I wonder.
Well, in the description it says we must choose not to let fear rule us, our relationships, and the way we interact with each other. The fearmonger and the bully should be rejected alike.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no,
that's harmless enough.
Can I just go ahead and say that I'm glad I'm taking Edwin's advice by blocking him?
Oh shit.
I mean, I remember what he did to Brett. I remember what he did to Saucy. I remember what he did to Tim Lim.
And Mindy.
And Mindy, yes.
And Pope Fire.
Pope Fire. It's just yeah, Edwin, go fuck yourself. Yeah, now
just prepare to have this for going on for like possibly days, maybe even weeks.
Oh, I have no doubt that it's going to create some more drama again with Comicsgate
prepare for more infamous Cold Wars that may or may not go nuclear. Oh
god. So many
I'm gonna be honest.
There's gonna be so many gay ops.
Yeah, so guys, the only way I'll be happy right now is when the asteroid penetrates the atmosphere.
I'll be happy if I get raptured. Not Anon's rapture, the biblical one.
Yeah, I was about to say, you don't want that.
I don't know. I'm feeling quite a lot of tragedy going on right now. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, so speaking of Mythoverse, huh?
Yeah.
When did I get... This happens every single time. Every time I make anything, it becomes... The world makes it retroactively topical. Why am I cursed with this?
Because you're the leader of so many gay ops right now?
Probably.
I mean, your gay ops is basically making sure everything you do is made topical.
Friggin' plot twist, I am actually God in human form, and I'm just twisting everything to make whatever I do relevant.
Obviously.
What else is there to explain this level of accuracy every single time? Maybe I should just stop writing and stuff will stop happening.
Oh, but we actually like your writing.
Fuck, why does this remind me of something? Like, I swear there's like some kind of, I swear it must be like some kind of Stephen King novel or something where, maybe it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie where where the writer doesn't know what he's writing. No, wait, now I know what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of it's a Will Ferrell movie. Stranger Than Fiction.
Yeah, Stranger Than Fiction. I remember that one.
Yeah, where he finds out that where Will Ferrell finds out that he's the protagonist in some author's book, but all her protagonists die at the end.
And there was also Adam Sandler's Bedtime Story. There's that one too that they kind of dealt with that topic. It was actually a very wholesome, good movie. I actually kind of enjoyed it. It was one of his better ones. He wasn't playing just some slacker down on his luck. He was actually a hard worker that couldn't get a break.
Oh wow.
But
what's going on?
What you went oh wow about?
No, it's just like the fact that you could that wholesome and Adam Sandler are not two words I would have expected to use in the same sentence.
Bedtime Stories is incredibly wholesome. It is completely legit. It's the same thing with surprisingly or not, it's actually kind of the same thing with Pixels. It's just literally guys just living out childhood dreams in a movie. That's really all it is. It's actually kind of interesting.
Huh.
Which is why I kind of enjoyed that movie, because it was literally just guys living out their childhood dreams. That's all it was.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. I didn't treat it as anything more than what it was, and I enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a movie out there that I like that most people didn't. I can't name it though.
What was it, Battlefield Earth?
I enjoyed Battlefield Earth ironically. Like you can only.
I'm still undecided if I like The Room ironically or unironically. It's just one of those movies.
I find The Room to be so bad it's enjoyable.
Yeah, of course it is. Like,
and I also have to thank The Room, because it really got Tommy out there, and he's actually making pretty good movies now.
Really?
Like Best Friends was actually pretty good, and he's coming out with a new one. I can't remember what it is. I think it's like a shark movie, I think it is, or at least that's what I saw from like the title. It looked like it was supposed to be a shark movie. I'm actually kind of interested in that. And then of course there was the absolute masterpiece of art that was Tommy and Brad, I think his name is, the one that always plays the best friend character in his movies. Like there was the masterpiece recreation that was the Joker interrogation scene from Dark Knight.
Oh boy.
That was beautiful.
But I think one of the I funnier things about The Room is that it's the RiffTrax commentary.
Yeah.
When they did their 10-year anniversary reel, they did a whole bunch of shots where you see Tommy just go, "Oh hi," to a bunch of people, and then during for the suicide scene, they go, "Oh hi, Gun Daryl."
Yeah. Have y'all ever played the fan game based off of the movie?
I know it existed, and it's
pretty great. It's a good one. It actually fills up some plot holes in the movie. Actually,
speaking of games, I would actually get some if I could someday. I'd like to be able to make a Changeling game. It'd be like a.
Would it be like a RPG mystery sort of a thing?
It'd be like a remake of Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past with some light JRPG elements, like out of old school Final Fantasy from around the same time.
Right. Well, yeah, I already know that all of my comic ideas are tabletop games too, so I already got games of my stuff, technically.
Yeah, that's what I would do with it. It's just like that. Just seems like the best direction to take it in.
It takes a lot less resources. You can basically one-man team it and just have play testers.
Well, not just that. The style kind of fits it too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, what would you do with a Mythics game, Matt?
RPG mystery.
Yeah. Ooh, that would be actually kind of interesting to tackle one day. An entire Mythoverse tabletop game. I think that'd be kind of interesting.
I'd be down for that.
Well, actually, a better one could be a card game. because of all the different stuff. It had a lot of different random events in it.
Yeah, it would be very interesting to do.
You can play around with that. You can play around with it. It'd be definitely an objective-based thing rather than a straight-up PvP thing. Maybe have it be a co-op sort of a thing, with the game playing against you.
Yeah, I think right now, a game would be fun to have. I think tabletop game would be really cool, but right now we probably don't have the interest for it.
Nope. But it's fun to speculate.
Maybe a board game, like a game of life, but Mythoverse.
Considering how all the characters are so far, it's not going to be a very happy game.
Who can get to the end with the least amount of depression points?
Pretty much.
Who can win the game with the least desire to kill themselves? Or having to go through this experience?
He doesn't want to kill herself. She just wants friends. She just doesn't want to be lonely.
Yay, I have acquired 5 friends. Steps on space. You lose all your friends.
Okay, then you probably want to. Then you probably depression.
Due to a nasty rumor at school, you have lost all your friends.
It is high school. It's like, rumors get around faster than a cold in high school.
What was the phrase popularized by Winston Churchill? A lie will go around the world twice before the truth has a chance to get his pants on.
I think it's halfway around the world.
One way or the other. It all means the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
And now somehow I got someone talking about how they got laid off at Blizzard. It's interesting.
Yeah, they laid off a bunch. Yeah, they laid off a bunch of community managers and esports people.
Yeah, but things are starting to settle a little bit down because now I'm getting random stuff from Twitter and getting indie stuff now. Unless who knows? Maybe Twitter's now trying to friggin' cover up the whole thing with Peter Smitty being swatted. I wouldn't be surprised nowadays.
Peter Smitty big enough for Twitter to even notice?
Comicsgate is, and apparently, I guess now he's associated with it. So.
Even though he said he wasn't.
Yeah, well, you stopped them from not doing that, I guess.
What's going on?
I was saying, I'm seeing very little of the stuff about Peter and starting to see random stuff again and indie stuff again, and I just made a joke. I wouldn't be surprised if it maybe is because Twitter is now trying to censor it, since Comicsgate might be involved with it. So, as I said, I just wouldn't be surprised.
Huh. Yeah, basically crush any kind of speak that they don't agree with.
Oh, yeah. Good idea.
As I said, it's just becoming a dangerous time to be online.
Unfortunately.
I guess so.
Especially even more dangerous when you have a family too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ramping up the rhetoric right now does not help.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh jeez, I think I just found an actual legitimate bot in one of Cody's tweets about the Peter thing.
Oh.
Yeah, he's talking about how you know, like we've let hate divide us so far that they seem reasonable to somebody. How about we do better? Share the medium, stop attacking people. You know, trying to redirect the hate with the love and all that. You know, and then immediately down below, there's this thing called Tunes Mag, like 16 minutes ago, that says,
"Oh,
like it. We would like to invite you to read our comics," and there's a link to
them again.
Their site.
Yeah, we just mock them every once in a while because of that shit.
Yeah, we just found a legitimate bot.
How do they keep?
I know they're just trying to get by with a bot, but I'm kind of tempted to report that.
It's like that's a bad. It's like, oh my god.
I ain't too happy about this.
Well, I'm gonna just go ahead and say that I looked at the site that's peddling, and it's it's a pretty far left comic site. So go ahead.
That would change the whole context of the whole like it opening. Especially if this is done by an SJW of the left as opposed to an SJW of the right. Oof.
Seriously, have some fucking class.
That's a yikes for me, bro.
Lots and lots of yikes.
That is a hefty yikes.
Oh man.
It's like, man, I don't think I've seen an account be more universally hated by people than that one.
Or mocked even.
It's like, did they not even? It's like, I have to wonder if the people who are even running that site even pay attention to what it does.
Probably not. They probably just let it do whatever the hell and focus on other things.
What makes you think they're even around?
Yeah, the people in charge of the site could just be gone, and it's just doing its own thing, and it's serving a master that's just not there.
The AI has gone rogue.
Like most every other sci-fi apocalypse, the humans are gone, but the robots still serve.
Honestly, I think in reality, AI going rogue would look more like Toon Mag than anything else.
Just spastically doing random things for no coherent reason.
Pretty much.
Because it's not properly programmed to actually be reasonable.
Boy. I really don't. In the long run, go on.
And really, as if the libertarians really needed any other reason to hate the cops. As if they were really starving for reasons.
Nope.
Wait, what?
What?
I just got a little confused there.
Oh, I was still talking like the whole Peter Cimenti thing. I just made a joke about libertarians not being the biggest fans of cops.
Oh.
Yeah.
It turns out the Libertarian Party is a big fan of SJWism too. So.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how, considering most libertarians don't want, any sort of law enforcement whatsoever, because they pretty much see them as basically mafia goons for the government.
Libertarianism has turned into astrology for men.
Yeah, the Libertarian Party has become
the fact that Ron Paul is distances him. I think Ron Paul has distanced himself from the Libertarian Party says everything.
Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano,
Rand Paul. Ron and Rand Paul are like the only two actually like reasonable politicians you can objectively find, which is the sad part.
It was Pat Buchanan.
Yeah, and even then, I get some rough spots with Rand every once in a while, especially with that whole. Not to get political, but with the whole thing with Saudi Arabia being tied into the death of that journalist who died in Turkey or something.
Haven't heard much about that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like a journalist that was that got killed in Turkey, and there's evidence that it was done by the Saudi government. And it was a whole thing, and Rand Paul, despite being anti regime change, went to like national TV talking about how we need to do regime change in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I thought libertarians were supposed to be very non-interventionist.
Well, probably not when it comes to journalists, I guess.
Honestly, I think Rand Paul is more Republican than Libertarian.
At this point, yeah.
All I have to know is that he's not gone full neocon, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
He has his own mind, so yeah.
Yeah.
He goes rogue from the Republicans every once in a while.
Considering how crazy politics are getting nowadays, I find myself going rogue for Republicans every once in a while, even though I hate both parties.
Yeah, just
wild times we live in.
Yeah, then you got like Tim Pool, who considers himself to be part of the left, but he just feels like he's like the left just hasn't that it's moves like he considers himself a liberal, but he wants nothing to do with the left.
Well, I did like all the political measurement tests and stuff and what have you, and they've all been consistently placing me just center of left, full on liberal or progressive, and this, that, and the other, and I want absolutely nothing to do with the left. They've gone off the freaking deep end. I still won't consider myself conservative by any means, but yikes. I have been becoming more friends with, despite me being left, despite me being liberal, despite me being atheist, I've been making a lot more friends with right-leaning Christian Republicans. It's very sad. It is incredibly sad.
That's like wow.
Does this consider me a political refugee?
Well, Tim Pool describes himself as politically homeless.
Pretty much. I made a lot of jokes where I've become the crotchety old man telling all of the other liberal kids to get off my lawn.
Yeah.
You are not liberal. Get off my lawn. You are authoritarian. Get out of here. Not for you crazy kids with your black bandana masks and baseball bats.
I've got you can find streams where I say like I want to go back to 1992 so I can go back so I can vote for Pat Buchanan when he's running for president.
So it looks like Edwin's tweeted out that he's going live to talk about the targeting of Peter Smeddy and about the silence of corporate comics, Marvel, DC, and the rest. They don't even know who Peter Smeddy is. I doubt they even care. They're too busy running their own.
Okay, seriously.
They're just say hi to the opportunist.
My God.
I'm genuinely not very surprised. So not only did he make a tweet and a tweet video about how apparently Marvel, like freaking like managers or promotional people, I don't remember who, executive officers, I don't know, of Marvel and DC being involved with the swatting. Now he's going to make a YouTube live stream about it.
Yep.
Jeez.
He's been really going off the deep end lately.
And it is sad because he was actually pretty cool starting out.
What? Oh yeah, but
like whenever Comicsgate was still about like doing our own thing, kind of a thing, a lot of people would jokingly refer to him as the grandpa, the lovable grandpa of Comicsgate. And
I think the real Edwin is coming out.
yeah. Oh boy, people are jumping in on the hype train of trying to get DC Comics and Marvel involved with all of this.
Why? They don't have anything to do with it.
I have no idea.
All they're doing right now is making Comicsgate look like a bunch of crazy people.
Yeah. I am glad I jumped ship.
Shit.
Damn.
I just find it so funny how Edwin gave me shit for bringing up Brian as my reason to leave Comicsgate, and here he is dragging Peter into a fight that
it more than likely wasn't even involved in.
Like Marvel or DC has nothing to do with this. Like, look. Here's the reality of the situation. Here's the reality of the situation, man. Like, Peter is
just again, Occam's razor. It's more likely some rando with some grind issues did this whole thing.
Yeah, the thing is, like, look, you said that there's silence against it. Look, here's the sucky reality, people. Peter, much as we like the guy, he's not high profile enough for them to notice.
Yeah, sometimes it seems like a miracle he's even able to get on Twitter when he's like freaking skyscraper high in comics he needs to distribute.
Look, just compare Alterna's follower count to Marvel's. I hate this. That's
like what is the follower count of Alterna?
I'll pull it up right now.
That's what I'm doing. 62.6K.
And here's Marvel's.
Well, it's Marvel got.
Marvel Entertainment, 7.3 million.
Not even like a tenth.
It sucks that you can say whether or not it's fair, but Peter's just not on their radar.
No, you want to know why he's doing it? It's the whole image of
someone kind of came up with something that's sort of, I guess, anti-SJW about the whole thing, but it's still pretty sensible. It's like, The police are useless. Scour the usual suspects' pages and wait for the idiots to brag. They always do. Like, yeah, that is something you really can do. You just wait and look around, just see who is gonna speak the loudest about it to claim, because that's what they always do when it comes to shit like this.
Yeah.
Just so long you don't harass people while you're doing it. Just scour and see if anyone does shit about it.
Marvel or DC have got nothing to do with this. Why is everyone dragging them into it?
Because they want to keep themselves relative.
I mean, relevant.
Yeah, relevant.
It's just... All I'm saying is, big set of balls on you to do that. And when you gave me shit for basically doing the same thing with Brian.
There's a difference. They've got a holy cause.
I only came here for indie and memes. Why must this be this way?
Don't know.
I only came here for the indie and the memes.
Honestly, the only thing that saves us is that nobody watches this show.
Just wait until Mythoverse actually happens and we do something around the issues to piss people off, and they go on a religious pilgrimage to scour everything.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's the thing to look forward to, huh?
Yikes! Yikes!
I can already tell y'all having my comic get involved is very high potential of that happening.
Are we trying to handle our optics better?
We're trying, but it's not. We're doing. It's so hard. It's so very hard.
Yay, Black Sheep.
Basically, you're gonna get hate no matter what, because.
But did we get? Yeah, but didn't we say like we don't have to feed the machine?
Yeah, but sometimes the machine is fed by.
We're not out to defeat the machine. We're just here making our own machine while the old one burns itself down.
I mean, Brett, the fact that you and I have mutual followers with Brian, that's gonna make people think, oh, anti-comics conspiracy.
I think I may or may not be safe, considering I'm mutual followers of both pro and anti-comics gang, pro and anti-war campaign. I'm just all over the place.
Oh boy. Oh man. Let's just say when they go digging through my tweets, they go digging through who follows me. Oh man, they're gonna find someone they can't let go of. They're gonna find someone they can definitely use against me bigly.
Who?
You know Matt knows what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, we have to keep this. Oh boy, got to keep this person under wraps.
Yeah, but I already know that they're probably gonna go after attach the SJW label to Dan myself for certain content. But here's the thing I find about this whole: if you got a character that's into the same sex, that's not SJW as long as you don't make it all about that character.
I mean, I'm considering having a lesbian character. I haven't really decided on a lot of details yet.
Yeah.
Oh no. SJW.
Oh no, I'm a political traitor.
How many? Yeah, I have to wonder. Back when they still thought Rags was Comicsgate, how many of them knew that Regina was supposed to be bisexual?
Yeah,
and she's bisexual, preferring women.
Yeah. No, just the things people miss when they only interested in outrage and politics.
Yep.
I don't know, Matt. You can probably mitigate it because Althea leans more towards men.
Yeah, I figure that when I look at it this way, I see a lot of female characters be more lesbian, and when they're more lesbian, they often have daughters. So I'm gonna go the exact opposite: have Althea more involved with men and have a son.
That sounds pretty good. Like y'all have already seen my idea and how much of an inversion it is.
Yep.
It is inversion the comic.
Huh. Mine's I can outdo that. Maeve is completely Maeve is totally straight.
Yeah.
And she won't have kids. Oh, come on. Nobody watches this show.
Bro.
Bruh.
Yeah, true. So, like, what? When we start pulling in... So, what? When we start pulling in Bloodsport numbers, then we're going to start talking about spoilers?
By that time, we're probably... what we talk about as spoilers are no longer spoilers.
And me, I really don't care too much about spoilers. So sometimes I intentionally spoil myself to see if something's actually worthwhile messing with. So that's why I tend to slip up a lot.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert: Jon Snow's fucking his aunt.
Well. Hashtag ruined.
I know.
Honestly, I think that's the least troubling relationship in that show.
That's messed up still.
I mean, it's not as messed up as an entire lineage of kings and queens intermixing, interbreeding, you know.
Or
sisters.
Or as messed up as Jaime and Cersei's.
Well, that's part of that too.
Although to be fair, I think Jaime finally caught on to how unhealthy that relationship was.
You know, you want to know something funny? The show is so slow that what Jaime realized, he's already realized in the book since book 3.
I could do you one better on the spoiler thing. Huey Emmerich gets cut by his own son.
Who does?
Huey Emmerich. That's one you really need to be in the know of the gaming franchise in order to get. I'll give you a hint.
Oh, wait. Metal Gear Solid.
Yep. Right before I can get the hint.
That's right. That's right. Otacon had an affair with his stepmother.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that made his dad commit suicide.
Basically.
Well, you know, there's
that family is something else. Freaking smartest people in the entire world, most effed up family.
Here's a spoiler. If Sean Bean is playing a character, that character's probably going to be dead by the end of the movie.
Another spoiler. Jesus dies.
Spoiler, Leto Atreides dies. It wouldn't be a spoiler if Sean Bean was playing him.
Spoiler, Dantes gets his revenge.
No, you know,
spoiler, Tyler Durden isn't real.
So, y'all know who they got to voice Leto Atreides in the remake. Oscar Isaacs.
Spoiler alert, Aerith dies.
Spoiler alert. James Bond's love interest dies.
Spoiler alert. Bruce Willis is a ghost.
Spoiler alert. That movie you're watching, that M. Night Shyamalan directed, there's a twist.
Spoiler alert. Rosebud is his sled.
Spoiler alert. Will Smith is Genie and no one is happy about it.
Spoiler alert. That was actually Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, that's rough. That's rough.
Yep.
Spoiler alert: Shaquille O'Neal gets away from the cannibals by putting a fruit sticker on his head.
Spoiler alert: Darth Vader is Luke's father.
Spoiler alert: Luke kissed his sister.
Spoiler alert: Luke probably almost screwed his sister.
Spoiler alert: Frodo doesn't destroy the ring. He technically doesn't.
It was basically Smeagol who did it.
You could probably say it was Gollum.
Yeah.
But then again, technically, Frodo did by pushing Gollum.
He didn't. Yeah, but he didn't do it of his own free will. No, he gave into the ring still.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, your son is running the Institute in Fallout 4.
Oh boy.
You haven't played Fallout 4, have you?
I have. That was not a good reveal.
Really? You didn't think that was a good twist?
Any impact that it really could have had was ruined because the story structure in Fallout 4 wasn't all that great.
I'm not. What are you talking about? It's like they did. It's not like they foreshadowed anything. They just kept talking about, oh, there's this father guy, and the only thing you knew about the only thing you knew was that they were the ones who took your son. And
yeah, just excuse me while I be worried about the well-being of my son while another outpost needs my help.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And I got some melons that needs to be harvested. I just don't understand why Bethesda really tries to trying to focus hard on guiding you towards a goal. It doesn't work with their open world attempts.
So like they're not. So it's better when they don't really have a story.
It's sort of better when you kind of create your own story. You have like a vague, non-dire thing to go after in terms of a main story that gets you wrapped up into other things. So it's sort of like it's sort of like what Obsidian did with New Vegas. Like it was like with the meme Fallout 3, where's my dad? Fallout 4, where's my son? Fallout New Vegas, where's the motherfucker who shot me in the head? But it's like but that's like if you want to go down that route, like if you just don't feel like being a revenge happy kind of a person, you just go about your life saying, "Oh, hey, I survived having a gunshot to the head. Okay, cool. I'll just do something." I don't really need to go out and have revenge. I can just do whatever.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in Fallout 3, they're like, no, though, you really need to find your dad to figure shit out. And in Fallout 4, it's like, no, you really need to go get your son before something bad happens to him.
I mean, I'll say this: at least the first game, there was a little bit more. It was more tension because if you didn't,
because you actually had a hard time limit.
Yeah, you were working under a time limit. You had to find this part to save your vault, otherwise everyone was gonna die.
And the funny part of that whole thing is if you memorize where to go, you can actually complete that game in mere minutes. Because the place where you get the part is like almost literally next door to your vault.
Jeez.
The entire game is you trying to find the part is like almost next door. And that's the funny part.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it seems like ever since Todd Howard took over them, it's all about looking for people instead of
the story. Bethesda doesn't have any really good stories though.
Yeah, but to be fair, the story is not what sells you on the game.
No, it's the open world.
Yeah. I'll say this much though. I mean, like compared to the first two, like even the third one, Fallout 4 just does not really fit the post-apocalyptic build that well, if you ask me. Like everything, it's supposed to be 200 years you're supposed to have been on ice for 200 years, but the world doesn't look that ruined.
Well, you were on ice for 200 years.
What are you talking about, Fallout 76?
No, just Fallout 4.
Oh.
You're supposed to have been frozen in cryo for 200 years, but look how... Sure, the world looks wrecked, but it doesn't look any more wrecked than any, like, other third world country does right now.
Isn't Fallout 4 the latest in the timeline, like the farthest away from the war that set off the nukes?
Let me check.
I can't remember the timeline setup.
Does anyone remember does anyone know the timeline?
Like I used to know the timeline, but it's been long since I cared enough to remember it or look it up. Because like even the people who made the game said yeah, realistically by the time of most of the games, like the wildlife and the greenery should be making a comeback, but it's supposed to be based off of like the time periods of vision of the nuclear apocalypse.
Yeah, let me pull up. I'm pulling it up right now.
Like there's already mods for most of the games that makes it realistic for a nuclear apocalypse, so you already got like greenery and forests making a comeback, overcoming the toxic waste.
Yada yada yada. Okay, let's see.
Because with how if I remember correctly, with how nuclear radiation work is that with something that comes with from a nuclear bomb, yeah, it's freaking intense, but because it's so intense, it has a very short half-life. So.
Holy crap! Yeah, Fallout 4 is actually the furthest in the timeline. It's like after Fallout New Vegas.
So yeah, definitely by Fallout 4, a lot of greenery should be coming back. It should be looking more lived in.
And not just that, like the buildings don't even look like that decayed.
I can't remember if the Commonwealth was a direct hit like DC was.
Commonwealth is supposed to be in Massachusetts.
I know in Fallout 76, the reason why apparently everything is pretty green and red there is because it wasn't actually nuked. So a lot of the environment damage is more from ambient radiation and not nuclear bomb devastation. No, wait. The Commonwealth was hit with a bomb, because that's the last thing you see before you enter the voter.
Yeah, it
was.
was.
A bomb detonating.
You're right, it was. In fact, like there's the whole glowing sea, like right ground zero, right where the bomb hit.
So yeah, freaking Commonwealth should be glassed.
Or at least irradiated.
Oh yeah, but like as I said, because of the intensity of a nuclear bomb, it does not have nearly as long of a half life. I don't know how long a half life of a nuclear bomb is, but it would definitely dissipate over 200 years. But like I'm pretty sure the glowing sea would be like at least on the verge of getting cleaned up at that point, if not already cleaned up.
Half-life of a nuclear bomb. I think it depends. Doesn't also sort of depend on the material you're using.
It depends on the size. It's all based off of World War II nuclear bombs, so you can look up the half-life of like the Fat Man.
Okay, so the half-life of the bomb that detonated over Hiroshima used uranium-235. The half-life of that is 700 million years.
Jeez.
And then the one that with Nagasaki had plutonium-239, which has a half-life of 24,000 years.
I mean, it has been forever since I've looked up physics. I've been too busy with like digital electronics.
Understandable.
It has been forever and a half since I looked up physics shit, and I used to be all about physics. Playing my high school, I signed up for a physics class, and they took me out of it to put me in driver's ed when I didn't have a learner's permit. I blame my high school for my lack of understanding of physics.
I blame my high school. I blame my high school for a lot of shit. Like for one.
And it's actually funny because on day 1 and day 2 of my physics class, I impressed all the students and even my teacher with what I knew beforehand.
So, thing I hate about
I wanted to enjoy physics class. Physics was my shit, and the high school fucked me over. Especially considering the physics there counted as a college credit course.
Oh, jeez.
Thing I hated about how my high school did things was that I was forced to take 2 algebra courses and a geometry course to graduate.
Right.
But personal finance, that was offered as an elective.
Oh, geez, apparently Wizards of the Coast is hiring. No, thank you.
I want to know why is it the class that was actually useful to me out of high school was offered as optional?
Because it didn't provide anything for their lesson plan, I guess.
I remember the only things that was actually useful for me that I learned came from social studies classes, where we actually talked about how the government works, and one of them during an economics section lecture, the teacher actually taught us how to fill out a check, which was kind of cool.
I just want that. I just want an answer. Like seriously, why are they making us take all these other courses and yet leaving the
because the United States wants everyone to be a versatile jack of all trades and leave a mastery or specialist education to like way later in life. They want everyone to have a very broad basic understanding of all topics before getting specialized, which to me I think is kind of a detriment. because a lot of foreigners get hired a lot because they get specialist education way earlier.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, like right after, like right when you get into high school.
Like I can say that at 6th grade, whenever you get into middle school, is kind of a safe area to start trying to convince kids to think about a career, and you can help convince them by doing like aptitude tests and interest tests to see like where they would more likely be interested in going into or what they're more good at, you know. And then from there, try and model a specialist education like throughout the rest of middle school and high school until they get to college. So at least then the kids have a rough idea of what they want to do and what they're capable of doing. Because with how we're doing it, it's like even in college, you still need a lot of general education, and that just results in people that get to like 21, 22 years of age and still have no idea what the hell they want to do for a career. It is abysmal. I know some people in like 6 year, like around like 4 to 6 years in college, and they still have no idea what that is. They just had no one to act, like no means of like this, like deciphering what they're good at, what they're interested in, and what kind of career path they can go down because of those two things. So they had like no actual direction.
Yeah. It's, I think it's pretty, it pretty much shows the government's ineptitude in education when they don't even realize that the reason why Americans are getting in trouble, having trouble with their careers is over the fact that they are doing too much of a generalized.
And really, the only time you really get a specialized education into a field is if you skip college completely and either go into the very, very quickly dying field of apprenticeships, or if you go into VOTEX or technical colleges, or if a corporation like signs off a partnership with your college and starts training specific students in a specific degree field into gearing towards the you want. Like I think right now my school, since I'm in instrumentation and electrical, like when I finish this semester, I'll get 2 degrees out of my 2-year time. And because I was in instrumentation, we had to listen to a guy from UPS who wanted to disclose to us about UPS wanting to do a partnership with the school to kind of cater the instrumentation career into stuff that UPS might need out of the instrumentation students, like conveyor belt maintenance, you know.
Huh. That sounds interesting.
Yeah. And so it's more like trying to pipeline instrumentation students into working directly into UPS. And the reason why they want to do that because like 2 of our teachers managed to convince the speaker like years back to take in like 2 students to work for them in one of their buildings. And because of those 2 students, like their efficiency output like increased by an insane margin in their production hours per year.
Huh, wow.
So because of that, they're like, okay, we want to get more students from y'all. Y'all actually know how to teach these kids. We want more.
Yep. Well, that's what should happen.
Yeah. And I think they want to branch that out to include trying out more schools for that, trying to make it easier for students to get jobs that actually like would be good at it and deserve it.
Oh, definitely. it's better than to just go ahead and say that you need to have a certain amount of experience.
Yeah. And if they do manage like specialized education into the fields that they need, that's less training hours they need to do. So that it just further increases your chances of getting hired. The less training hours they have to do, and the more hours you can start working, and they'll take you in.
Which is a very good idea.
Yeah. Well, and I think that kind of mirrors a bit of what Europe kind of does, because I know a lot of countries in Europe sort of combines the public and private sectors to come up with common solutions to problems. It is sort of why a lot of socialists sort of confuse a lot of European countries for being socialist countries, where instead they're purely capitalistic. It's just that the private sector is more intermingled with the public sector, so it's like capitalism with some quality social programs backed by the private industry, private sector.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Yep.
So it's not more. So it's less socialism and more just common sense capitalism. So I kind of always get a laugh whenever they call those countries socialist.
Well, it's probably because they don't understand what they're talking about.
Well, to be fair, like a lot of people also miss what even the people who like those countries kind of miss why they work.
I still remember one of the like anarcho-capitalist accounts that like I don't agree with everything anarcho-caps and caps are about, but they come up with some quality memes. But he's like a Dutch, and when someone like one of our politicians sort of talked about how the Dutch were socialist, he blew up about that. He was none too happy. Like, don't you dare say my country is socialist, you parasite.
But like I said, even people who like how the European model, how European countries are run, like they kind of miss why they work, because those are countries that have high IQ, and here's the big one. Well, they're small, high IQ, and the big one, ethnically homogenous.
Yeah.
But again, it's also because it's what we've had for a good while. It's social programs backed by capitalist private sector, and we've been kind of dipping a little bit too much into the social part of the program and not the capitalist part of the program. Like we've been trying our damnedest to kind of take away from the capitalism for whatever reason, and that causes a lot of issues.
Well, it's just because, I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that, for one, America is a big country, a much bigger country with a much bigger population that is a lot more ethnically diverse. So it's just like, and also I'm just kind of the opinion that what works, that just because that might work for like say Norway, that doesn't mean it works for us.
Oh yeah, I mean like we have states even that are like bigger than like the entirety of Europe, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure if you manage to just squeeze, you can like fit the entire world's population in Texas. It is, especially with our density, our city density tech nowadays. Yeah, you can definitely fit the world's population inside of Texas. You're basically turning Texas into New York City, but you can still do it.
No.
People kind of forget that the United States is a big place.
Very big place.
Yeah, it is. It's massive.
Like, it was so big that even the founding fathers were like, okay, look, there's no way we can make this like an actual country, so we're going to make these into individual states and just have the states have meetings and act a bit like a country.
Huh.
That's how I sort of like describe what the United States used to be to people. We're not actually like a country. We're just a collection of states acting like a country. We're basically the EU before the EU happened.
That didn't work. Just so everyone knows, that did not work out.
I would say we better implemented the idea of EU.
It still didn't work. Because remember, fuck, what was that name of that guy?
Who are you thinking about?
Like some kind of the Whiskey Rebellion, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, the Whiskey Rebellion. It was like, it was under a war veteran named James McFarland, and it kind of showed like how like the federal. It kind of just showed the federal government. Okay, there are going to be times we're going to have to get a little more heavy-handed. Like this whole loose collection of states.
The whole idea was that the states kind of handled their own business, and the federal government will only come in if there was anything that obviously breached constitutional law.
Yeah, but
then the Fed got really huge.
Yeah, I know. I don't disagree but I mean, like, it's definitely grown. It's definitely bloated, but it's like fucking Hamilton would say this is too authoritarian.
I would think a lot of the founding fathers would not be too happy. They would be absolutely mortified about what happened to the country they made.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, we just fought against this. Why is this happening again? We left you clear instructions, and we've stated that you cannot change these instructions, and here you are changing the instructions.
Yeah.
Come on. What is you doing?
Exactly.
Speaking of which, apparently after ending the stream, Edwin took it down.
Oh, wow. Did you get that much flack about it?
I don't know.
Is the stream like deleted?
Yeah, it's not on there.
Damn. He must have had some serious blowback. Oh, and Tank is private now? No, he's not. He said he was in. Maybe he's talking about this DM message he sent me. That would make sense.
All right. Let's see. Okay, it's now 9 p.m.
It is 11 p.m. for me.
Midnight here.
Okay. You guys feeling it's good to call it good?
Oh yeah, I'm willing to call it good whenever y'all are. I really don't mind. I don't have college until like 12 anyways.
Yeah, it's been about 2 hours now. 2-3 hours.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Probably close to 3.
I'm just okay with calling it good just because I want to go eat something.
Same.
Yeah, even though I just ate dinner not too long ago, I could probably eat something again. My stomach is a bottomless pit.
All right.
Right now, I'm feeling the same.
I have trained my metabolism too well.
All right, then we're calling it good here. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. Talk to you guys later.
Yeah, have a good one.